Welcome to the Popco Project Podcast. Kenny's already decided to leave again. He's back. He's back.
He's recording, man. This is live.
This is real now, Kenny.
This is the real deal.
It's happening.
No more GoldenEye quests.
You need your microphone.
You know what it is? I'm in a haunted city, so I think it's like the ghosts. They're like messing with the audio and stuff.
I hope we hear ghosts. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the first time.
Would not be the first time.
We got a story for you, my man.
Yeah, you want to hear a ghost story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, real quick, I am joined tonight by the band Tiny Ships. Thanks so much for taking the time on a Thursday evening late. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You guys just got done with band practice. Kenny's in Florida, living the dream.
Killing it.
The rest of the band's in Jersey, sweating, putting in the work.
Hanging out in the basement.
Hanging out in the basement, the dark basement. Sweating.
Sweating really bad.
Yeah, super moist.
What are you guys working on? Anything good?
Yeah, we're working on a new song that we're going to be playing at our headlining show on June 13th. So that's what we were pretty much working on all night tonight.
Some technical difficulties, just working out a new mixing, system we got going. So it's just, all these kinks are, we're just kind of like going through the process of getting, the audio to, meet us, in the performance world, and all these little things that we're doing. I mean, we're trying to kind of just make a break for just getting like digital formats and digital mixing and bringing it to like, that performance world. So it doesn't affect us. We just kind of just play,
Yeah. Like pros.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
do it like
so yeah. So it's something new for us. It's something foreign, but just the whole closed off in-ear system, and it's just we're just learning. And this is the best place to do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, Tiny Ships, I guess we'll say from Jersey. Big news here tonight. They decided to change their name to Technical Difficulties.
We were coming up. We were trying. That was one of the ones that we had on the list.
Or struggle.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Yes. Breaking news on the Popco Project Podcast. Tiny Ships
Right on.
changes their name.
No,
but
Tiny Ships.
yeah. Again, thanks for joining me. I was connected to you guys from a coworker of mine. Her name is Kate. Do you guys know her personally, or just kind of been passing through shows?
She heard of us, I think, when we played the Lacey Sturm show.
Probably at the Ritz, right?
Yeah. So that was our first introduction to NEPA, Northeast PA, and
you can't call it NEPA.
What do we call it now?
You can't do. So there's a bunch of different variations. People call it NEPA, which I don't like. NEPA's probably the worst one.
Really?
Yeah. And NEPA is, I think, the way to go.
NEPA.
NEPA.
Now we know.
Now we know.
Thank you so much. That's great.
I think if you called it NEPA again, you might get made fun of. In fact, I dare you at your next show, because you're going to be coming back to Scranton in June. Get on stage and call it NEPA. Thanks for having us. And I swear everyone will go, "What the hell did he just say?"
Hey, any press is good press, man. Maybe that'll work.
We like less syllables here in Jersey. We don't got time for more than like two.
I understand. You want to keep it concise. I get it.
Yeah. But we'll work on that. I appreciate that.
That's just a personal preference for me, honestly. I mean, people have called it that before. I'm sure they've called it different things, but yeah, it's just a thing that I don't like.
Yeah.
All right, man.
And I'm born and raised here, so I could have an opinion. So right.
I mean, look. I mean, if you call it, pork roll here, we might have fighting words. You know what I'm saying?
Well, hold on. It's pork roll, or don't tell me.
Oh, so you don't even know it.
Well,
That's the
it's
worst.
not-
I
not
do.
pork roll.
No. There's a fight between two different things. Is it some kind of ham, right?
Mhm.
Close.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the second word.
Yes, I know.
Second word.
All right.
First word starts with a super famous singer,
That I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
She's super famous.
like the biggest billionaire single,
Like she's
vocalist.
she's a big pop artist.
the biggest one ever.
Taylor Ham.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey.
There you go, boy.
Nailed it.
And I ripped on you for NEPA. I only know of the battle between those two because of the show Jersey Shore.
Uh-huh.
That is like a guilty pleasure of mine.
That's okay.
Yeah, man.
That show. I mean,
He said
I'll
it really is like that.
now I'll get made fun of, so that's fine.
No, we're even. You got the name right. You know, will help. We got you.
Yeah,
You
I knew it was something ham. I forgot. It's one of those shows I put on just for background noise. You know, it's like it's there. I'm on my phone. My wife's actually watching it. So, Pork Roll versus Taylor Ham.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a big battle on one of the episodes. I remember that.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's Taylor, just to be clear.
But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about
We're not there talking about meats.
we're here to talk about Tiny Ship. So tell me a little bit about you guys. Obviously, there's 5 of you here. Why don't you go in the room real quick and just tell me who you are and what you do in the band?
Kenny, you want to go first?
Not me.
No, the other Kenny.
You got this.
I sing, and that's what I do. I sing, and I do the singing of the band.
So this is actually perfect because Kenny's by himself, lead vocalist, whatever, and you guys are all the grunt workers, right?
Yeah.
You guys are the ones lifting the heavy equipment and setting up, and Kenny just shows up and sings.
Yep.
Oh no,
he
when
helps.
he's up here, he works. He works.
I'm kidding. That's like the whole.
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and the worst work of it all is him having to get on an airplane
He has to fly
to come
along,
up from
yeah.
Tallahassee and then actually just go into like Newark. It's just a nightmare. So it's like we need like a whole half day of recuperation just there. Remember that one time, Kenny? We just picked you up from the airport. We're like, oh, we're going right to the studio. We're gonna bang out an 8-hour rehearsal. I'm pretty sure you were not
wanting to
feeling
do
that
that.
good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I told him he moved.
Kenny's on a GoldenEye quest again.
Can't
He
move.
keeps
it
moving.
was a fun.
Yeah, you gotta like
You gotta stay still, bro.
you gotta find a spot, brother. You gotta park.
He's like, I'm busy. I got shit to do.
He's on the move.
Why
On
is
the
he
move.
doing this?
I don't know. He does it every time.
Oh my
All right,
god.
well, we got him out of the way.
Okay.
Kenny sings.
Kenny sings. I'm Kelly. I play the drums.
Hell yeah.
Charleston play guitar.
Mike, I play bass.
I play guitar and I'm Bill.
I'm gonna forget all your names. I apologize.
That's all right.
Nah, man, it's all good.
So how'd you guys get together? I think you're I'll say fairly new, right? As a band.
Yeah, we just started like playing live last October. So we've only played 5 shows so far.
Literally 5 shows.
And how were they?
They
Great.
were awesome.
All
I
of
think
them have
every
been amazing
show
so far.
has been amazing.
Almost everyone's been sold out, literally, except
Hell
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been it's so awesome.
So it's great feedback and just been
Yeah.
really fortunate, and we've been really very, very lucky. And because we have really good friends and
Good support.
great support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been an awesome couple of shows that we just start out in the gate, and it's great. It's really, 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 we're really lucky. We're really, really happy.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been like a band recording and at least playing together?
So me, Kenny, and Mike started in 2021. Kind of as just like
We were
actually
bored.
we started as a hardcore project,
Yeah.
Dead Ringer.
Yeah.
And then Kenny, we were like, yeah, let's make this hardcore record because nothing was going on. It was COVID or whatever. And then Kenny was like, hey, I've kind of always wanted to make my acoustic songs from Lazarus Wild into a full band. So he sent them. And then when he sent them, me and Mike are like, all right, we're going to do this instead. We're a hardcore band. And so then we wrote an entire record, and we scheduled to record, go into the studio with Adam at Timber Studios, and that was supposed to be March of 23. Because we kind of died off. We wrote the record, and then we kind of like didn't talk for a little bit. It was like a weird like 8 or 9 month thing where like nothing happened. And then we were like, are we doing this or not? And then we were like, all right, let's go record the song. So we set up an appointment with Adam. It was supposed to be like March 1st or something like that. And then like 3 weeks before we were supposed to go in the studio, we all were like, this isn't the right record. Like these aren't the right songs. So we scrapped the whole fucking thing.
Wow.
And rewrote an entire another record, moved our recording to September, and got all the songs done in time, and that's peak. And
That's crazy.
yeah, it was fucking insane. I don't know what we were thinking, but it was better because those
Oh, yeah.
songs were better.
So we needed something that like was, I guess, like more like on brand, mutually, a collaborative. I mean, he's got a knack to write like fantastic songs, sing them, and then play them on acoustic. So, and we made that sort of like a stipulation when we write songs. One, can they be played with an acoustic, and can they be sang while playing acoustic? So as long as we have that vibe, we are able to translate it. So we write differently. We don't just write the song and say, hey, Kenny, can you sing on this?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, give us like a really good song where you sing and play, acoustic, because we feel like those songs translate the best, in our opinion.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we write coming from a singer-songwriter perspective, and then what Kelly and I do is we take it into our labs at home, and we just mess with it. We play with it. We put drums to it. We put bass. We put guitars. And we more or less just try to like make it into like a bigger thing than a bigger sounding, sonically. And if we're able to do that, and then we all agree, hey, this is a song we need to like bring out, and then we start rehearsing it, and then we're ready to record it.
I like that idea too, because now you can also play those songs acoustically. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of our songs translate to acoustic like really, really well. So we're gonna do an acoustic record too.
Hell yeah.
I think after this one, which is gonna be a mix of Peak and
Some of the newer
new
ones.
record. Yeah, some of the newer songs. Which would be cool. And then what happened was like the band. This band wasn't even really supposed to be a band. It was just supposed to be like a fun thing, and then like a recording project. And then it just kept like evolving by accident, I guess. And then we were like, well, let's do a record release show now that we paid all this money and recorded this record. And we're like, well, we can't pull this off as a 3-piece. So that's how Bill and Justin got involved.
Mm-hmm.
And at first they were just like playing, like they were just going to fill in for the show. And then we've played with them, in other bands we've known each other our whole lives and stuff like that. They're like our best friends. And so it kind of just worked. And then they were like, hey guys, like, what the fuck? Are we in the band? Like, what are we doing?
Like,
and we're like, all right, yeah.
like, duh,
cool.
yeah.
Kind of just gelled and we worked it out, and we
Yeah.
brought them in as like official members, and so now they got to actually on Peak. That was just us three, but we have 3 new singles coming out, and these guys got to actually like write their parts and like be involved and record and stuff. So we're excited for that too.
Just brings a nice element to it,
Yeah.
It just rounded everything out, like made the sound like complete, So
And did you know Kenny before that, or how did you guys?
we've all known
Connect.
each other literally for
Played in
Forever.
Jersey bands.
yeah,
Like we've all played shows with each other years ago.
yeah.
And just like I said, we at some point or another, other than Kenny, like other than Mike playing with Kenny, us 4 have been playing for a long time, and Mike also played with Kenny. But then now all of us for the first time together.
Yeah.
Which is,
It just makes sense.
Yeah, we've all mixed. Kenny's from Jersey. He used to live here, so he was around a lot more back in the day.
Kenny got out.
Yeah, Kenny got out. He escaped to
So
Tallahassee.
believe it or not, Kenny and I started, a project. What was that? We called Kenya, right, Kenny?
Yeah, we were called Kenya.
Want to tell them how that worked out? That was kind of crazy.
How did Kenya? I was living in Baltimore, so I travel. I live a lot of places. I was living in Baltimore, and then my life was going to shit, as most people's lives do at age 27. And then Mike Bell was like, hey, you could live with me. And I was like, sick. Okay. So then I lived with him, and then our diet was like black coffee for like a good 8 months. And we smoked cigarettes, drank black coffee, and wrote music in a basement. And I remember I wrote this song, and it was we just called it Kenya, and it was just one song. And I was like, hey, we're gonna play a show. And he's like, we don't have a set. I was like, I have an idea. So booked this show at this place called the Court Tavern in New Brunswick. And with this, we had all this electronic setup. So it took us like 15, 20 freaking minutes to set up. We go and with only one song. And the promoter had no idea that we're just going to play
one song. Yeah, you guys just did one song.
Yeah.
I forgot about it.
Shoot your shot. You know?
Holy shit.
Yeah, so I was like,
Yeah, and we
dude,
just
we're
left.
gonna
We bounced
totally
right when we were
like
done.
play this song. We're gonna throw a vibe, and it's gonna be sick. And then we're just gonna fucking dip. And then people are gonna be so confused, but they're gonna love it. So like, we started.
Oh, I
and then,
forgot all
it
about
went from
that.
being like it was a pretty like empty room. By the time the song built, the room was packed. And then we like did the song, and people were like, "Holy shit, who are these guys?" And then we finished. And then immediately we fucking like beelined it out. And the promoter's like, where are you going? What's happening? And we're like, we're done. And they're like, and that was it. We're like, wait, you're just playing one song? And then we didn't play for like a year.
That's amazing. I've heard of bands doing that. Like, hey, we don't have a full set, but like we got offers this gig, so we're gonna do it. But they pushed through like 5 or 6 songs, and they may have been garbage, but they still did it. You guys literally played one song and bounced.
Oh yeah,
That's amazing.
No, that's all you get.
Well, I mean, like, we didn't do it to make a point. We were just like, we went for one song, and you're like, let's just go. We just walk right down the street to Church Street, and then we take a left, and we're there. Let's just go. See what happens. So I'm like,
so one of the songs, which is cool, one of the songs that was written. One of the songs that was written in the basement actually is on the Peak record, and it's called "You're Not Right." It's like the oldest song that we wrote, and that was written in the basement of Mike Bell's house, and it somehow has lasted a long time and made it on the Peak record.
That's my
we
favorite
never
song.
released it, so it was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, that song's like 15 years old.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
It's very, very intricate layers of where all these songs came from. And actually, the one that we were working on tonight, Heart Tree, is an old Kenya song
That never got released.
that never got released. So we're working on that one, adding like because they did that like fully electronic. So this one's like with a full band now. So
Do you think you can
In the
repurpose?
song, actually, in the song that we performed live, that we just did the one show, we're actually going to put on the new record.
Yeah.
That's cool.
which one?
Heart Tree. Yeah.
Oh, Heart
No,
Tree.
it-
That's Heart Tree.
No, it's on the Untitled Rapture one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Rapture. Yeah, that's
We're
one.
working on that. Yeah.
We didn't start that one yet. But that one's
Yeah. So here we are. We're telling you all the good stuff that's coming,
Yeah.
and then there's no surprises.
We have a giant folder of songs that are just ready. So we're going to be pumping out music for a while.
Well, can you repurpose any of that material that you wrote into some of this project, or is that not even an idea?
Well, that's a lot of the songs that we're putting on this record. Some of those songs that were written 15 years ago. We're just kind of bringing it back to life and revisiting it, integrating it into what the band is now, with these new elements, and kind of like modernizing it.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, the band Tiny Ships, I got to ask the generic question, like, what is there some kind of meaning behind that, or how did the name come about?
Yeah, so the name, there's a song on the first record called Tiny Ships and Glass Bottles, and it was a poem that was written about me by a friend of ours when I first moved to Mike's house. And a friend wrote this poem about me, kind of like describing my personality, because I'm like a pretty reserved person. But whenever I would perform, I'm like this explosive personality, very detailed and intricate. And like when you get to know me, you get to realize there's a lot of nuances into who my character is. And so she described me as this like tiny ship in a glass bottle. And in the song, I kind of explain, like I used her exact poem. And so when I thought of the band, like when we're talking about band names, I was like, we're kind of like that. We're pretty humbled people. Like we're we always we are reserved in our own right. Like we've been through a lot. Like we've been through the circuit, but we never really showboat, and we've never really taken a lot of things for granted. But we are a big personality when it comes to like work ethic, and it comes to kind of showing out what we need to do. So then I thought Tiny Ships would be a fitting name.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just like open a book and point to a thing on a page and say, yeah, this is it.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
good.
there's like actual.
That's good. I like that. So Kenny, going back to you said your personality, like is performing and being on stage and does music allow you to be like this different person? Is that like I don't want to say like a type of mask, but is that just a way for you to kind of express that different side of you, or how does that work?
A little bit, man. I think it's just like another extension of like expressing who I am. I try not to deviate from my personality too much, because I feel like then it takes away from people getting to really know who I am. Like I don't want to be a character on stage,
Right.
and then you get to know me, and then you're like, oh, that's not really who he is off stage. I've always been like reserved and kind of like what people say. They're like, oh, he's like a mystery guy. Like I don't do that purposely. I'm in my head all the time, and like I'm always writing, and so like a lot of the stuff it's always very obscure, and so when I perform is very much like that as well. So I try to keep that pretty cohesive in how I perform as well. I let the band kind of showcase their personalities, and I think that there's this juxtaposition of a reserved person with an explosive background that makes it a little bit more interesting to see. There's the midst of chaos, yet there's someone still reserved enough to kind of like stay grounded amongst the chaotic background.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And for listeners that might be new to your music, how would you describe your sound or any kind of genre, the genres that you might explore?
It's a little bit of everything, you know.
Depends on what song you listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
A lot of variants.
We all come
Modern
from a
grunge.
pretty diverse
Like
background.
yeah, like Bill's like really like he's really good at metal. Like
I was
so good.
I was in a metal band for 10 years, and then you would never guess, you know. But
It's like, yeah, so that I started playing music, you know, as a bassist in a ska band, you know, and then I went into like, you know, punk rock after that, and then just a whirlwind of different influences and bands, you know. I mean, but like I love everything from like Beatles and Zeppelin to, you know, so we have influences back then. Like I'm really into like what makes songwriting so special, you know, and I'm always combing that when I'm in the process of like trying to take Kenny's songs and being careful not to, I guess, like completely desecrate it, you know, because you can take an acoustic song and a song that a singer-songwriter wrote, and you can completely just wash over it with other stuff. So I'm like super careful. First thing I do is I learn exactly what he plays, you know, and I'm like, okay, this is rudimentary. This can't go anywhere. We have to keep this. I have to make everything else around it revolve, you know? So we do a lot of experimenting, but I think, you know, I think our music comes from a background of singer-songwriter, right? We had that influence, just acoustics. We have metal, we have pop.
We have hardcore. It's like a mush. We
Yeah.
don't really try to fit into anything, to be honest with you. It's kind of like Kenny will send us something, and if the vocal melody hits, we're like, all right, let's write it.
Yeah, like we're not afraid to try a
Just do
genre,
it.
you know?
You'll hear that when you hear the new stuff, not the ones that we just recorded, but the stuff that's coming after that is where really we're going to hear like our genre bending, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be completely different than what anybody's heard so far.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And what are some of your songs about? You know, Kenny, you said that you're always writing, you're always kind of thinking and all that kind of stuff. Is there anything that you write about specifically, or how does that kind of come together?
Yeah, the first record was struck on mental health. I've struggled with that a lot, and I know a lot of people that I've met have struggled with mental health. So I've kind of curated a lot of the songs that on the first record, talking a lot about that, and I still bring that into some of the new record as well, because I think it's just one of those continuations that we don't really talk about as much. We kind of push it to the side a little bit. It's always evolving into other issues, and I think we just band-aid it whenever we find ourselves with having personal conflict. So I find ways to generalize issues of personal conflict into song format to see how someone can cope with whatever they're going through and work through those emotions, whether it's they're having a mental health issue or if it's just like a personal struggle. I don't know.
Well, that's good because like your music's also relatable, right? Like,
yeah,
it really gives you an opportunity to connect with your audiences.
Yeah, I think generalizing is important because you hear a lot of songs nowadays that are very they're I don't want to say pigeonholed, but you listen to it and you know what that song is about. It's telling a particular story of a particular situation, and then now you're just kind of like you're stuck to this sequence of events, and only a certain amount of people can relate to that. And for me as a writer, I have to find ways to take a situation. We'll just talk about we'll say depression, right? Which is a lot of people go through depression, right? But how do I find a way to make it super generalized to where I can talk about seasonal depression or couples relationships and they have their depressive episodes? Like, how do I integrate a song that can speak into one song those many topics without it being like, all right, this verse is about that situation, this verse is about that. So it's like I have to find, it's like wordplay. And I think that's where I find the challenges in there. But I also, that's like my strong point. And I think people gravitate towards that. And I kind of get lost into that world too. So I get a little bit obsessive.
Yeah. Why do you think, I mean, obviously we're more cognizant and, with mental health is very much, talked about these days. What do you think? I guess my question is it just more of a thing now because we're addressing it and we're acknowledging it exists? Or do you think that like, people's mental health is deteriorating for a specific reason?
I think it's a myriad of reasons, man. I think that we as human beings, we can take this pretty fucking deep.
Let's go.
So many different avenues.
But it's a pretty like wide scope, man. I mean, we as humans are very complex creatures, and we're kind of our own worst enemies. It's rumination that really is our own issues that we kind of face. A lot of the issues that are out there, like the mental health issues and stuff, it's all self-conflict. Like the things that we see, like social media, like one of the biggest factors of it. Like the images and the videos we see are really just people wanting us to see the things that they want us to believe that is that reality. But in reality, that person's probably living a broken life and all these other things. So now we're said to believe like this is how life is supposed to be, and these are the expectations. So you start to have these false idols and stuff. I don't know.
Well, I always say a lot of times, I think we're all, to a degree, mentally ill. And I feel like the internet and social media in general has really expedited it or exposed it to a degree. It's kind of crazy. I mean, you said that as humans, we're complex, but I mean, I don't think we're meant to kind of deal with everything that we're dealing with. The constant information and the news cycles and all this stuff. I don't think we're meant to try to consume all this as much as we do. And I don't think it's healthy.
Oh no, not at all. I think that we've been given these we're almost as if it's like we're supposed to have the answers for everything, but I don't think we're supposed to have the answers. And I think that that's where the pressure lies, because now we're feeling the pressure of like, why don't I understand this? So now what's wrong with me?
Right.
When it's okay to not know what the fuck's going on. Like maybe there's a beauty to not understanding and just being present in the obscurity of it all. But we're living in this ever evolving world of just like everything's given to us. Like, so now you have to know, or I don't know. I feel I'm gonna go a weird rabbit hole, dude.
No, it's too much. It's too fast.
Yeah.
It's a digital age now. You know, it's just point and click and instant gratification. I think that's part of it, where people gain instant happiness by point and click.
Yeah.
If they don't get it, they kind of freak out. But you shouldn't have to feel that way, because before, look at what people did. You know, like before the internet, you just didn't know, or you heard a rumor at school that some famous guy died, and then you got home and you're like, "Oh, he didn't die. That was just a rumor." Somebody like, "Hey, you hear that Adam Sandler died?" They're like, "No," you know, it was like a giant telephone game back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's just like when you hear things, and
You don't know what to
the
believe.
digital age of misinformation, as far as information as well, have culminated.
I think people kind of get stuck, you know, on those things. They find like these corridors, and I don't know what it is. You know, I don't want to say it's like a cult thing, or you know, like people can steer too far, you know, into like a realm where they just can't find their way back from it. You know, and I mean that just generalized. You know,
Sure.
I mean it could be in a lot of ways, but. And I feel like, you know, the way algorithms work is just like feeding that. It's feeding that. You know, you know, you can watch like a whole myriad of like videos on like, you know, whatever you pick it, like Instagram Reels or TikTok, and then like you just stumble upon something. Oh, that's really interesting. And all of a sudden, like 3 or 4 pop up, and it's another batch. Oh, they keep feeding me this one thing that like I find so fascinating, and then you know, those things can lead to a corridor that I, in my opinion, just could just turn into like this delusion, you know, and then, you know, and for people who, you know, have, you know, like mental illnesses, that's not healthy for them. You know, it's hard to bring those people back. I can't tell you how many people it's just like, oh my God, what happened to my mother? You know, what happened to my brother? You know, what, like they didn't used to be like this. Like why all of a sudden, why did they change? You know, and it is heartbreaking, heartbreaking, you know, and you want to help them and you don't know how to sum it up. And, you know, like you miss the person that they were when they didn't have that baggage, you know, and they didn't, and you sit there and process like what went wrong. Like you want to help them, but it's more like, that's why our music kind of like comes around full circle. It's like we're not the answer to people's problems. We're here to help you realize, hey, it's okay to say, I have a fucking problem. I need help. It's as simple. It starts there. You know, when you get people to realize, hey, I have a problem, even if you don't know what it is, you just know it's a problem. You know, at least start with that. You know, and that's totally cool. That's a big moment in somebody's life. And that could change literally everything.
Yeah.
You know?
And you said you had a bunch of sold out shows. Like have your fans kind of received your music and kind of you know, talking to you guys after shows or whatever it might be? You know, I always say like music is very powerful and it's a wonderful thing. Have you been able to like hear from fans that, you know, that maybe they say like, hey, this song helped me, or, you know, you guys saved my life, or whatever it might be?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely starting to get messages like that, for sure. And we talk about mental health pretty often. We just actually did a post, I think it was yesterday or the day before, where we all kind of like spoke a different line, and it's just like this whole thing about, you know, if you're hurting, you're not broken, you're human, stuff like that. Like all your family or friends, and like we're getting like a huge response from that. People are like, I needed to hear this. Like, you helped me. And we also have people that have messaged us on the side and just after seeing us at shows and just been like, you guys, holy shit, we went back and actually like listened to your lyrics. Like, we loved your songs because obviously when you're playing live, like people can't really translate lyrics that great. I don't think. Kenny enunciates really well, but it's still quite hard when you're in the moment.
Yeah.
So I guess when people are going back and listening and they're actually listening to the lyrics, we've had a bunch of people write to us and be like, holy shit, like this is like deep and like, oh my God, I didn't even know that I think that was that one girl, I forget her name, Casper, remember?
Yeah.
She was like, I didn't know that I found you guys at the most perfect time and you literally saved me. So that was like, if it's one person's life we save, that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, forget about like being like a famous band, a successful band. That's the stuff that
that's impactful.
That's the stuff that means more to me than anything else. I mean, I don't care if I was in a punk band. It's not about that. And when we put those PSAs out, it's like straight to the point. Like we're not sitting here trying to promote a song or
no, we just talk about it and that's it. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not about the band at that point. It's about advocating for what we like actually believe in.
It's genuine. Yeah. It's
it's not a gimmick. You know what I mean? When it's like, it's really not like that. Because Kenny, if you read Kenny's lyrics from shit he's written 20 years ago, and stuff he's writing now, you can clearly like feel
Kenny,
the genuine.
Kenny and I have seen I've seen Kenny at his lowest, and I've seen Kenny see me at my lowest. I think we've all kind of seen each other at like a really bad moment.
We've been in each other's lives for so long.
I remember when you were like 80 fucking pounds, like living in Brooklyn. Like,
I was a drug addict for a little bit.
I was scared for you, but like we all kind of like at some point, like for instance, like straight up, like what was that moment like when you were like, I need to fix this. This is bad. This is turning into like a situation.
You know how I fixed it? This is the craziest, most opposite thing that you would ever think. Justin was in a band called Royden, and their drummer quit, and they were in California, and I was like hardcore cokehead, like literally I was like 105 pounds, and I'm an athletic build. I'm not supposed to be 105 pounds, which is not how I'm supposed to look. My eyes were sunken in, my ribs were sticking out, and Justin's like, hey, Nick just quit. We're going to be home in 4 days. You have to learn the whole record. We're going on the Warped Tour. And I was like, sick. So I fucking quit my job. I started practicing. They come home and they're like, oh my God, you look like shit. And I'm like, sorry. Oh yeah. By the way, guys, I fucked up. I'm fucked up on drugs. I'll get better. So going on tour, which you would think is opposite, actually saved my life because these guys
took you out of the environment.
Made sure, I was in the environment, but they made sure that like the other bands, they weren't like, we're not your mom. Just don't offer Kelly anything, please. Like she's trying to get sober. Like just
gotta walk the line.
Yeah, just fucking don't offer her drugs. Like weed is okay, but nothing else. And all of the bands on the tours that we went on, every single fucking person respected that, and everybody. And I just got clean. Really cool. It was really cool. Like I literally
between other bands that we played with, and very respectful.
Yeah, everybody was cool, and everybody's
personal struggle.
Yeah, man.
So it was.
That's how I got
very cool to see out of a a humanity level.
Yeah.
People respecting other people's issues and being compassionate about it.
That's interesting because I always talk about music saving the listeners' lives and just saving them, and music saved your life essentially in a different way.
100%, because I would have been dead. It was bad. It was very fucking bad, and I didn't care about my life at that point at all. Like I did not care if I fucking blew a line and my heart blew up because I was in it so deep. The only thing I cared about more than drugs was playing drums, and I didn't have that when I was in that part. It was a part of my life where I wasn't in a band. And so I didn't have anything to care about more, I guess. But yeah.
Well, good for you.
It really saved my life.
Call it divine intervention, whatever you want to call it.
most people go on tour and become drug addicts.
That's right.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that. That's very admirable.
Yeah.
It's our nature to be vulnerable, I guess.
I put it all out there. I don't give a shit.
We said we had to be honest when we started this. No matter what we did, we have to be honest with ourselves, honest with people. And you know, when something like certain things bother us, we all have that connection. It's just like, you know, like what we say could say somebody like, hey, I was a drug addict. No shit. There's millions of us. Yeah. And like, what are we? We're not anything special, you know, like we're all human beings. We all go through stuff. And sometimes it's good to share, you know?
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's
man.
great. We talked earlier about some upcoming shows this year that you're rehearsing for tonight. You want to talk about those?
Sure. Yeah. So we started what was I gonna say? Well, the first show we booked was we had a good relationship with Josh Balls over at
The Ritz.
The Ritz. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out today. I'm trying to do a show we were talking about. Yeah, so we met him, and he liked us a lot when we played with Lacey Sturm, and he was super nice, and we're so grateful for Josh and what he's doing with NEPA.
You did it. There you go.
That whole scene, you know. And listen,
Full circle.
I fucking love that place so much. I love all the people that were there. We met some really good people. So we had a great experience. And then we were so lucky to be invited back to play the Road to Work. And that's going to be June 14th. He's doing like 4 days, which is great. So we're playing on the 14th, which is Saturday, on the Ernie Ball stage. And that's just going to be just an incredible moment. I personally never played Warped Tour. Like you guys have to play Warped Tour. I didn't. So so this could be a first for us.
Me and Justin have PTSD.
So we're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to getting back in your neighborhood and playing. I think that's going to be a really great weekend for a lot of bands that are coming up. So we're looking forward to that. The night before, we're playing on our hometown. We haven't played there in a while. So we decided to put together like sort of like a little like a dark market, you know, like a couple artisans. So we're trying to collaborate with a lot of people that like make stuff. I mean, one of our friends basically takes like skulls and puts dead shit in terrariums, and like it's really beautiful, this art. So we got a few other artists. We got tattoo artists, and so we decided, hey, we're gonna play a show, but like let's make it about like not just us. Let's make it about like, you know,
oddities,
you know. So we're putting together an oddity show, and we invited 3 of other friends' bands playing, and we're calling it Strange Things for Strange People.
Yeah.
And then so that's going to be on the 13th at Stanhope House in Stanhope, New Jersey. And what do we got after that?
And then we just got announced August 1st. We're playing Houston Call's 20-year reunion show at Crossroads.
That's fun. They're really good friends of ours too. We go way back with them. So it was really nice they invited us.
Well, did you invite Josh to your that show in Jersey? Because he's a big oddities guy. He has a whole store. It's called The Strange and Unusual.
He's going to be working the Road to Work tour because it's Thursday, Friday.
Oh, that's right. It's a whole weekend. Yeah.
Believe me, this won't be our first one. If this is going as well as it already is, I mean, we already pre-sold half of it. You know, it's insane. Like we're killing it on ticket sales on that, and that's probably going to sell out before
that should sell
June.
out. The Road to Work tour, our day, I think, is sold out or almost sold out.
Yeah.
The Houston Call show
that's going to sell out.
So we're just like we're so
lucky.
grateful and like it's just nuts. It's just
I'm like, how is this even happening? It's insane.
It's totally wild how it happens. So most people get to play a sold out show like once a year, and it's like every
or never. Some people never get that opportunity. I don't know what to say. You know,
it's very fucking cool. A lot of us are spiritual and, you know, believe in manifestation and the universe and all that kind of shit too. So like we've been putting out a lot of good. So I think it's just coming back.
It's kind of come back. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that weekend in Scranton. Josh is a good friend of mine, actually.
He's such a good dude. Yeah.
When that got announced, that was kind of like insane.
Yeah.
This whole,
well, so I mean, like, full disclosure, I think how long we knew it? We knew about
we
that.
knew
like,
for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
and like we can't
3
say
months?
anything for like months.
It was like
Like
3
you
months
can't say anything. You're on this, but you know, we can't talk about it. And
that's
I'm just
the worst
like
part about fucking shows. It's like you know about them so early and you can't say shit. I hate that.
I had to rewire my brain and completely fucking forget we're playing this amazing show. So I'm like, all right, it's not going to happen. It's fine. I'm just going to trick myself not thinking when it's going to happen. And I'm like, are we doing this? Is that really happening? I'm like, then we're like, oh, it's probably not going to happen. And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, we're going to release this week. Like, wait another week. Don't say nothing. I'm like, ugh. brought it back. We
Yeah.
were
He put us
so-
on early. It was like literally a week after we played the Lacey Sturm show.
Oh wow.
Reached out to our manager David, who's also really good friends with him, and was like, "Hey, I want to put them on Road to Work. Don't say anything, but they're definitely going to be on. I don't know what day yet, but just make sure they're available these 4 days." And we're like, "Oh yeah, sick."
Yeah. What am I gonna say? No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it's pretty amazing that was kept a secret like that, because this is a small town.
I know.
And obviously, people knew it early, and that's crazy that was able to stay a secret that long.
Yeah. I mean, we weren't going to say shit because Josh has been so
Nice to
amazing
us, really
We're
great
like,
team.
we're just going to be grateful. And
Of
thank
course,
him,
yeah.
and
That's
we're
amazing.
going to ride the wave,
Yeah.
if he's going to give us the board. We're going to ride it.
It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any PA is very lucky to have Josh.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Yeah. He's doing amazing
It
things
really
there.
is. I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see that you just announced the Silent Planet show sold out. So I'm happy to see he's getting sellouts and stuff, which is amazing.
And that venue itself is just incredible.
Oh,
The sound is incredible. Oh my god!
The
That was
green
the best
room.
sound I've ever played with ever.
Like it's
Phenomenal.
any musician's wet dream to
Yeah.
play there, and
Yeah.
you have to be a sold out show. It's just the way it's set up is just so spot on.
And we found out that Houdini performed there, which was fucking cool.
Yes,
We were in
dude.
the same green room as Houdini, which is awesome.
Kenny, did they tell you that? Did you hear about that? Kenny didn't even know about that.
He might not have.
Houdini performed there.
I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that.
It's so cool. Yeah.
There's like a Houdini museum, I think, in Scranton somewhere.
That
Probably.
would make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't he not? I mean, that venue's got to be ancient.
It's so old. I love it.
Right?
I love
Yeah. And the whole city of Scranton is just so rich with history, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. NEP gets a bad rap sometimes.
How?
Well, I mean,
You don't hear it, but
it's, I mean, the area in general is like this old coal mining town. So it just has an old history, and a lot of people set in their ways to a degree.
Mhm.
So it's like up to guys like Josh, and I like to think that I have a part of that, like just, with the radio stations and things like that, and highlighting the bands in our area through this podcast and the local radio show that I do. But it's hard to change the narrative sometimes when it's so deep with, I don't want to say misery, but I mean, maybe that's a good word.
It's just old heads. Yeah, they just don't
Yeah.
want to change.
so it had history, like just being like known for like this one thing that it probably produced like 100 years ago, and then like when they stopped making it, a lot of people lost their jobs. Like one of those kind of stories, you think?
Yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Probably,
in,
probably just got decimated.
like
when
Western PA.
everything stopped. Yeah.
It's no different than like Appalachia, but I mean, it's just a great location now. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I know people like, I mean, the whole like coal mining thing, like the history of that is the most bizarre. Like it's just crazy. Like you actually do a coal mining tour in Scranton, and just thinking about it, and just like how just the whole history is just crazy. I don't want to get into it, but it's. But I mean, people were alcoholics. I mean, they would like drink before work, or they would like after shift they would like drink after work. It was just, and they had to do that just to kind of get through it.
Yeah,
That's
And
wild.
like,
that's gotta be a miserable fucking job.
Yeah, dude.
Can you imagine
yeah,
that? Like going
Coal miners,
13,
that's a
14
hard
hours
job.
a day, and then like, because back then they didn't have like labor laws.
No, they just went.
Nothing. Yeah, they didn't have like hit like
Protection.
right. Could you imagine doing your job, Bill? Bill works in like a fabrication factory or some sort, right?
I'm in manufacturing. Yeah.
Yeah, and then but can you imagine that place without like health? Like,
No.
you wouldn't have hands
Never.
left, bro. That's insane.
Everybody.
well, these people had to go to work in the mines to be able to have a house. And if like you got hurt and you had a young child that was like 10,
They're fucked.
the child would have to go do it just so that way you could have a house to live in.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's
You have to do
wild.
what you have to
Can you
do.
imagine telling your 8-year-old, "Sorry, son, you got to work because
That's just how it was.
dad
Yeah.
lost an arm."
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
That's what's heartbreaking. There's like actual figurines in the mine. And like I have my son's 7 now. But I think I took him down when he was probably 5 or 6, I guess it was. He was probably too young to understand it, obviously, but like you see him and it's like, dude, this could be you. Like this was like you back in the day. It's
That's
crazy.
You can't comprehend that. You know,
No.
it's intense.
And the amount of coal they wanted you to like take out per day was like just unimaginable. Like it was like not even feasible to get that much, and they would just dock your pay.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
That's
So maybe it's a good thing that it died. You know,
Sure.
you know, things like that needed to end. You know, in order for a rebirth or some sort of revitalization. You know.
Yeah.
I hope all towns go through that. You know, that been through that.
Yeah, but a lot of towns in this area are still in desperate need of gentrification, I guess.
Well, I think you know what's going on with with the music scene over there, and it is sometimes like in hard towns, like you can hear it. You know, like I'm sure there are plenty of other artists you probably interviewed. Forgive me for asking, but like, how long have you been doing a podcast? You know?
It'll be 5 years in December, actually.
Wow.
Just as this iteration of it. I've been doing some kind of form of it since like 2017. This will be episode 233. But yeah, my goal was to really just kind of highlight musicians. I mean, I've always loved music, and I can't play or perform or even write it for that matter. So this is like a way for me to force my way into it. But
but we appreciate that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like
awesome.
you're like a sixth member. You know, I mean, we need people like you that to kind of like get into it more with us. You know, because a lot of times we just write songs and put it on Spotify, and no one knows a damn thing about it. You know, it's just like, oh, it's just one band I put on Spotify, whatever.
yeah. Well, that's how this kind of started. Because I used to, so the station I work for now, I used to work for like 10 years ago, and we had a new program director from Detroit, and he's like, you know, what do you want to see at a station? And I said, I'd really like to see a local show where we put the local bands who have produced music on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, okay, cool. Like we did that in Detroit. Well, let's do it here. I said, all right, that's awesome, cool. He goes, you're gonna do it, and I'm like, excuse me, I have no. I'm like, dude, I work in sales. I've never been on the radio. I've never even like been behind a mic to a degree. And he's like, yeah, you'll figure it out. And so I hosted that show for 3 years. And then during COVID, they changed the format of it. And I was doing kind of a podcast aside to that, because on the radio, you can always do an interview, but it's that generic, like, all right, you got an album coming out. What's it called? All right, you have a show coming up. What's the date? And it's like that just quick 2-minute bullshit thing you do.
Right.
And I really wanted to kind of like get behind the music and like talk to the members about why they wrote it, or what their goals are, like all that kind of shit. Yeah. So when the station flipped and the show went away, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll just keep doing this podcast. And it started very local, and I've been fortunate to kind of have an extended reach over the years, and I've been able to interview like Art from Everclear, and I'm friends with Breaking Benjamin, so I got to talk to them. But yeah, I mean, I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. So like, again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me. And
yeah, man, it means a lot to us that people actually want to spend like an hour with us, and no one really knows us yet. And
yeah,
we really appreciate you helping us kind of like get out what we need to get out too,
For sure. Yeah. That's my favorite part of it. There's so much more that goes into, what you guys do outside of like, words on a page or riff or whatever. It's I always say like music is this powerful, this thing that, people need. And I don't know where I'd be without it. And obviously, I don't know where other people would be without it too. So
yeah.
People are put on this earth, I'm convinced, to do certain things. And, whether it's a teacher or a nurse or a doctor or whatever it might be, I think people are put on this earth to do certain things, and, creating music and giving people an outlet. That's definitely one of them. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, real quick before I let you go, I know we talked a little bit about what the plans are for the year ahead. I know you have the few shows coming up. and you're obviously recording some new songs. You've talked about that. Any set things like that people can look forward to this year outside of those shows and the songs we talked about already?
Yeah, we got a new single dropping next Tuesday,
So that'll be
The
the 13th.
13th.
okay. So this will be out 3 days after that. So if you're watching or listening to this, go check out the new single.
Thank you. Yeah.
We got that one coming. We got that coming, and then we have 2 more coming right behind it. We just didn't pick the dates for the second 2.
So we're gonna have a train of just ever flowing, singles. We're gonna try that. Everyone says like, "Oh, that's a good idea." I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, gone are the days where you write like a full album and you get everything pressed and you get everything ready and then you just put it out there and expect millions of people to fall in love with you, right? Like,
Right.
people don't have that modicum of patience. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of like fell into like this like easy lane of going through and discovering people digitally. Like, no one's gonna go and source out, oh, I wonder if they have like an album I can buy, or some other form of tangible music. I miss that, I mean, I really do.
I do too.
We all do, and I miss it for like, especially like the newer generation, like they'll just never
It's not the same. man.
understand
It's not the same.
what it was like to rip through a mall with like a whole bag full of cassettes before like mall security tries to kick you out, that shit.
Oh, when we were
That was the
handing them
best.
out
And
stuff,
like,
yeah.
we would do tour stops
Oh yeah, at malls,
explicitly to go to the mall, like, of the nearest venue we were playing, the nearest mall, and then we would just be like,
Put
all right,
Walkmans on
Yeah,
people's
hand that-
heads,
yeah,
listen
yeah.
to it, try to sell your CD.
that was
try to
so much
sell
fun,
whatever.
And,
Well, it was more interaction. You had
Way
more
more.
interaction with people. And
Yeah,
like,
it
you
was
can
way
actually
more personal.
have conversations. Now everything comes out. And I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking crazy, but I think
you're crazy.
I am crazy.
Crazy.
It just doesn't sound the same on Spotify to me as it does like when you pick up
Yeah.
a fucking CD or like a record and like or a tape.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Some
it's
of my favorite moments were we were going to the record store and I would just hear a song that they were playing and I would go to the guy at the desk and say, who is this? And he would tell me and I would just buy it.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it. Like, this is great. What is this? I remember listening for the first time, like, Refused, The Shape of Punk to Come.
oh god, yeah.
And I didn't know the people that were like in front of me. I'm like, what the
You showed me that in the school parking lot, and they're like, "You
What?
like them?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, too bad they
dude,
broke
that
up."
album. I was like, oh man, really?
That sucks.
Yeah, but then they came back.
I got,
remember.
I got
Yeah.
to see him live. So
But like, it's just those
That's
moments
amazing.
you're just like, oh my god. It's just like, I don't know. You don't catch those vibes. It's just like, get your stuff out there and expose
It's so
yourself.
different.
Yeah, make it-
algorithm, and I'm like, I don't even
Yeah.
know what that means, man. Like, half this band doesn't know what that means.
So
Like,
that
Yeah.
dynamic has changed quite a bit from 15 years ago.
well, it's like it's like you better have a fucking single every 6 weeks or you're not relevant. Nobody fucking cares about you. It's like,
so I'm
holy
like,
shit.
okay, like, we can turn out music like that. That's not a problem. It's just like, oh, but we like albums. So it's like,
Yeah.
tough shit. We're not gonna need an album until you get all the songs done. And I'm like, okay.
Well, we are going to release it as an album. We're
Yeah, we are.
We're
Yeah.
releasing it as packs of 3 singles, and then it's going to become an 11-song album.
Right. Yeah. I have like mixed emotions about that. Like
I don't
really-
like it, but
I don't like it either.
Try
I mean, I have like this thing with dates. Like I could tell you almost like when an album came out, if I own it, like when it came out, like what month, what year, almost to the day on some of them.
Damn.
But I just tied so much of those release dates and like going and buying it and opening it up and going through the art and all that kind of stuff. And it's attached to moments with my best friends or the girl I was dating at the time or whatever, name it. It was
that's the shit I miss the most.
Yeah.
yes,
You nailed it.
Yes.
The moments, right?
Yeah.
the moments. Yep.
That's
But-
what makes music special.
Yeah. But now it's like it's really cool that I can get, music from my favorite artists in a 6-week thing instead of waiting 2 years. So it's like, I don't know what's better.
It's a give and take for sure.
Yeah. Because usually the albums are like 2 years, but now everybody just released the singles instead of the whole songs being done.
Yeah.
And, I think what's cool, one of the things I love about Tiny Ships the most is literally everything we do has a meaning. Every single thing. There is thought process behind the dates we release stuff, like, you know,
Even the shows we play, you know,
everything has a very specific like lined up meaning, and I love that. It's so cool because like not everybody doesn't get to have that. We'll talk about it, but unless somebody like asks or we have that kind of interview, people wouldn't know. But I think it's cool.
Well, hopefully I'll catch you guys the week you're in Scranton here in NEPA.
that'd be amazing
Yeah.
if you
That'd be
show
great.
up. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta let us know. You know,
Yeah, I will. It's my time. My life is. I joke, and my wife would probably kill me if she heard me say this, but like, my life is just monopolized by my children's schedules and her schedule. She's going back to school for MBA, so she's in class 2 nights a week. My son's doing baseball 3 days a week. My daughter's doing dance.
Oh God, yeah,
I work full time, so like that's why I do this so late. So again, thank you for taking the time to do it on a weeknight.
we're
But-
doing this for you then.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
I love that. I love
know,
that. Yeah,
I do the whole dad. I got home from practice tonight at 7:30. We did dinner quick. I helped with homework, put the kids to bed with my wife, and then I come down here in the basement and I do this, which is
That's awesome.
a nice kind of me time, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But
very cool, man.
so
you need that.
yeah. So what I'm getting at is I'm trying to make it a point to, because Josh is so welcoming to me. He's like, dude, like, come hang out, come in the green room, like you said, is awesome. It's like a maze back there, and
I'm kidding.
so yeah,
Everybody
hopefully
thought somebody stole your shit, Bill, when the first time you played. We were like, it's around here somewhere, Bill. I don't know. And he's like, where's my cat?
Oh my God, what happened to my stuff?
I'm like, we sent it down the fucking elevator and we didn't tell him.
oh jeez.
I walked through the window and I was like, we got to go through here. And I walked through the kitchen. They all looked at me. I was like, I'm in the wrong place. I don't know where I'm going, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? This place is awesome.
It was an experience.
Yeah.
I've been
I can't wait to go back. Yeah.
well, and there's a lot of local bands that are on that as well. So it's gonna be a great 4 days in Scranton. So happy that Josh pulled it together.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to see, continue following you guys and girls and see what you guys are going to do. And like I said, hopefully I'll catch you in Scranton in June.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
man.
to it, man.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's stay in touch, and I'll keep, like I said, I'll keep tabs on you on Instagram and keep up to date with what you got going on.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate
And we'll be
it.
watching you
Thank
too.
you so much.
Awesome. Tiny Ships. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man.
All right.
Yep.
Take care.
Have a good night, man.
Take care.